I was reflecting this week, I thought about waiting, the concept of waiting. We are always waiting for something, for someone, for a situation, event to change before we can make the decision that we need to make to move our life forward. So what is it for you? Is it a trade? Is it a new job? Is it a course? Is it a business opportunity? You know, the biggest regret that I found my clients in hospice, in the hospice setting where I used to work, they were at the end of their life. And when they would reflect back to me, they would say over and over again that they did not take the risk that they really wanted to take. They would say things to me like they thought they needed to wait. And when I would ask, why did you feel you needed to wait? To make your dreams come true, to follow, your innate path. Like, why did you feel you needed to wait? They would say, I was afraid of taking a risk. But if I were to sum it all up in one word, it was fear. Fear took my dream away from me. So I want to ask you today, what is fear keeping you from? What is fear taking from you? So I'm not trying to scare you, but every night we transition, we essentially die. And for some of us who are fortunate enough, we wake up the next morning to repeat the same routine, the same cycle. And instead, I believe we should be, yes, going through the routines of life, taking care of, our family, our children, if we have them, and doing the things that matter. But the thing that matters most is the time that we spend to honor the gift, the talent, the ability that has been placed within us. And how do we honor it? We honor it by doing it. We honor it by learning it. We honor it by embracing it. And doing so, it scares us, but we do it anyway. We do it afraid. Matthew 25:14-30 talks about the parable of the talents. And I love what the master tells the servant in verse 26. I'm going to start from verse 25. So the servant is now giving back his talent. So he's essentially going to explain why he didn't use what was given to him. Okay, so he said, I was afraid and I went and hid your talent in the ground. He said, here, you have what is yours. But his master answered him, you wicked and slothful servant, that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I've scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers and at my coming, I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For everyone who has will be given, and for he will have in abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You see, people usually use the scripture and forget that it's a parable. You're not going to hell for not using your talents, but you know where the real hell is? What I witnessed as I would talk to these patients who were about to take their last breath. I would see them whisper to themselves. I could see the agony of what they were whispering. And oftentimes they would say, I was afraid. I'm not ready to go because I didn't fulfill everything that was within me. That is the real weeping and gnashing of teeth that the ego will have us experience. So you see, when we decide to honor the gifts, the talents, the abilities given to us. They multiply, they expand. And God, our higher self, the master, reminds us that we will do more than what has been imagined. And for that, there is reward. So in essence, we rest in the fulfillment of having done the work instead of our ego later on reminding us in the bed of transition, convincing us that we lived in failure because we didn't use the talent. And what was the talent? Our very own life. I love you all. Have an amazing day. And remember, do not let fear take your talent away. Talk to you soon.